Okay, everybody, it is Sunday, July 22nd, and I'm going to start off with an update of what I've got done. As you can see, I've got the oil pan on the short block, timing cover, water pump, studs, head studs it is, and lifters are in it. And it's waiting for me to finish the heads. I've done one head. Here's a comparison before redone and after redone, and I've done all that myself. Only thing I changed was I did polish the combustion chambers. Not a perfect job. I didn't get all of the pitting out. See, these heads were as they are out of box. They haven't been ported, polished, or anything. Been like that for a long time, and I've been wanting to try some things. Done some research on porting and polishing, and there's a lot more room for improvement. Can't really see it unless the valves are off. I'll show you when I get the valves out of this one. But I just not going to take the time to do everything I would like to do because I am running out of summer time racing season, and I want to get together to at least try for the last 2 months of summer. Hopefully I'll make that. Just a lot of things been getting in the way. But I relapped the valves and made sure all my spring heights were the same. A couple of them are off a little bit, but they're well within specs. The only way to make all of them exactly the same, I would have had to reseat the valves on a couple of them. There was a little bit on the short side, but not so short it would cause a problem. But I basically just cleaned the heads up, reseated the valves, and polished these combustion chambers off. So that's the update of where I'm at, and I'm going to, part of this video, I probably won't get the whole process of redoing this head, but I'll show you part of the disassembly and the cleaning. Okay, I think I got everything I need to start taking all the springs off. Now, especially when you have springs this stiff, you almost need to clamp it down to a table. I'm lucky enough to have this old Bridgeport mill with these slots in the table. T-nuts go in the slots, and I just line up my bolt hose for the head with those T-nuts after I slide it under there. And I don't clamp it down tight. Head's good and flat. No rocking. So no worries there. I don't have to clamp it down too awful tight. Just so that it stays still. That's what it's all about. And I have one of those old style valve spring compressors, but it's a little too thin and flimsy. It's a really old style, and the guy gave it to me, and it would be good for a stock set of heads with a hydraulic cam motor that doesn't have a lot of spring pressure. These springs here, it's a wasp or a mud dauber. These springs here are almost 600 pounds when the valve's fully closed. And you got to compress them a little tighter than that to get the keepers off. Scribe here, and I think I need to find me some needle nose pliers. Alright, we're going to try this old homemade tool since it's out of the car and I got room. If you remember, when I did the spring swap in the car early last spring, I had to make actually it's right here, I had to make this tool here. Had to make this tool right here, and it bolts on there like it, and it works pretty well, but I need to cut a relief all the way across and maybe find me like a Torrington bearing that's got a 5/8 ID hole, but small enough to stay on top of this. because when the nut rubs against that, you get metal chips on your engine and stuff, which if the head is dry, you know, you got it cleaned up real good and sitting on the outside of off the engine, that's okay because you can just blow the chips off. But when it's all sticky with oil, all those metal chips are not a good thing. So, but this little tool here works okay. Now these are titanium, and titanium doesn't stick to a magnet, which makes it a little harder. You can see me shaking because these springs are strong. But that's how I get them off when I have room to use this tool. And it works okay. I would like to make a better tool. Wrong wrench. And I'm keeping all my springs and cups, if they come out, in the order they came off. Keep them all in the box over here, which you can't see. There, you can kind of see it now. Now you can see it. And all my little keepers don't really matter. They can go on any valve. I just keep them in a can, of course. And let's see. This has the nylon valve seals. I've got new ones. I could probably get away with using these over, but I've got new ones anyway. I might keep these for spares in case something goes wrong. If you can get it over the top of the valve. Feel a little play in that guide, but it's not bad. You don't want them too tight because they'll stick and cause real problems. And you got a seat cup in here. And they all got shims under them. I'm going to keep them in the order they went. Put them under the spring that came out. And also, how I keep them in order so I don't lose track. Just got me a little crude looking picture of the head with exhaust intake, which is exactly the way the head's setting. And I just put everything in the order that it came off from left to right. Valves will do that too. So I'm going to remove all these and we're going to get these heads cleaned up. Yeah, see if I can flip this head without these valves falling out everywhere. I'm going to slide out some. I'm just going to take them out and sit them in this box. Just the order they came off the head. Looks a lot cleaner than the other. It's weird. So I did spray some lacquer thinner down in there. But I did it to all of them. For some reason that one, look at the difference there. It's kind of weird. There's all them out. As you can see, they're pretty dirty, full of carbon. I need to spray them down with some cleaner. I wish I had some good gunk degreaser. I don't know how well I could. I'm going to soak it Oh, excuse me, I got choked. I'm going to soak it down real good. Maybe take a little lunch break. While the cleaner, I got some Purple Power, should work pretty good. And I think I'm going to rinse it off with some lacquer thinner first. That cuts the heavy stuff off pretty good. Then I'm going to soak it down with the Purple Power. And when that soaks in, hit it with the pressure washer. And we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so like I said I was going to do, soaked it down with this Purple Power, which I did that after I sprayed it down with lacquer thinner, which really cuts grease and carbon kind of quick. But if it's embedded in like a cast aluminum or cast iron, in this case aluminum, it tends to not get it all out. But after I did that with the lacquer thinner and blew it out, it got most of it out of there. And I soaked it down with this stuff right here, the Purple Power cleaner and degreaser. And the thing I did different with this head that I did with the first head, which turned out fine, but something I'm seeing that hopefully will make it work even better, is I soaked it down and I just let it sit for about 2 hours. I did get some rain out here, which might be why it turned white, but I figured this stuff kind of soaked in there and dry. But it looks like it really penetrated all the dirt and tarnish and grease, because that port looks really clean in there underneath that. So I'm going to soak it down again, and while it's still good and wet, then blow it off, blast it with the pressure washer. On the other one, I just sprayed it with the Purple Power after cleaning it with the lacquer thinner, and then blasted everything I could out with the pressure washer. But I think this soaking with this stuff here, it really cuts that stuff good. It surprised me. It's kind of like using engine degrease. You got to kind of let it soak into the dirt or grease. So I'm going to get this thing set up on a piece of plywood closer to my water faucet, fire up the water pressure washer, that is, and see what it looks like. Alright, that looked like it cleaned it up pretty good, and I think actually it probably, one thing I forgot to do is go down in these exhaust ports, which they're good enough, but I think I'll see if I can't make them a little better. But I think this one actually turned out better than the last one before I did any scrubbing to it, because on the other one, after I did this, the only difference was I didn't let it soak for 2 hours with the Purple Power, and I had to do some scrubbing to get it to where it was. And of course I did polish the combustion chambers, and I will do the same to this. Here's what the other one looked like before I did some polishing. It's just a rough cast surface. This head here has got some serious imperfections, if you can see that. There's a little bump there, and a little casting slag right there. Need to knock that out of there. That can screw up your flow there. Maybe it'll make a difference, maybe it won't. We'll see. That'll be the only difference I'll change. I'll do these heads besides just freshening up the valve job and cleaning all the carbon out. Honestly, there's so much carbon in valves, I think just getting them cleaned up in a fresh valve job might get the ET, the little bit of ET back that I lost after the car sat for so long. Maybe. We'll see. I'm wanting to leave it the same weight and everything just to see if there's a difference. So, and the other thing I did different was I switched nozzles. It's a pretty nice little pressure washer. If you remember, I did a video a couple years back doing a repair, and one guy told me I was destroying it, and actually I fixed it. It's been working great ever since. But when I did the other head, I used this nozzle, which is the widest and least pressure in a small area you can use. Of course, the bigger one is for soaping, but I used the second to the smallest, which that would really blast some areas out, but that's just one tiny little bead. At least that way I had a little bit of a wide spray pattern there, but that seemed to blow it out really, really good. So I'm going to do them exhaust ports, flip it up like this, just get down in there and go around in them, and we'll blow it off dry, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, it's not quite 100% dry, but here's what it looks like now. See a little bit of stain from where it was corroded from all the sitting over the years. Aluminum does tend to do that, but after this gets dry, I can take some Scotch-Brite, get any rust that formed on them seats, which I don't think it will because I dried it immediately. But this head did turn out better than the other one after pressure washing, but before I did the finishing up by wire brushing everything out. I'm going to pick me up a fresh wire brush to just go in my drill. Wire brush and the die grinder. The die grinder is a little too fast for that, so I usually use my hand drill, and it works out just right. And I'm not looking to smooth any metal out. I just want to get any dry dust or corrosion that'll be on there after that dries out really well. But the head turned out pretty good. That pressure washer nozzle that I switched, it made it to where I could blast almost all the paint off. And what I plan to do, since this is smooth, I will tape that off and leave that shiny because I can polish it with aluminum polish. But I will repaint this area with the aluminum manifold paint as well as the casting area. This I won't worry about. I can block sand that with some really fine, use some warm soapy water or WD-40, and that will make that look pretty nice. So, only other thing I'm going to do today, and then after that I'm going to call it quits for the day. This is Sunday afternoon, got to go to work tomorrow. I was up late last night finishing up the other heads, so I'm kind of wanting to take the rest of the afternoon off, but we made pretty good headway on this head today. I'm going to clean the valves, and it's a good idea. See if I can do this one-handed without dropping everything. That would really defeat the purpose of arranging these in the box, how they came out of the head, wouldn't it? But it's recommended to use a brass brush, which I got on this pedestal grinder, and I'm just going to clean these valves off. I'll clean one or two. Alright, whenever you're using one of these wire wheels, especially the brass ones, they seem to be worse. Steel, I'd recommend it too. Wear a face shield, because when I did the other head, I put this wire brush, or this brass wire brush on new, and had a little sting in my forehead, and didn't know what it was. I figured something hit me, but I didn't think much of it. But that night, when I went to the bathroom to clean up, looked in the mirror, and I noticed an 1.5 inch piece of steel bristle or brass bristle sticking out my forehead. So if that was to get you in the eyeball, that would be some serious trouble. You'll get all that carbon off the backside. And yes, I did kind of hit that little steel cushion there, steel spacer. You don't want to do that. It's not going to hurt it though. Carbon isn't stuck to these too hard. Mostly kind of sticky and gummy. As you can see, shines it up pretty good. And when I start polishing out the combustion chambers, these valves will be stuck back in the hose they belong to protect the seats. And these valves will also get polished up along with brush container. And the brass is a lot easier on that surface than steel would be. And there you go, it looks pretty good, like that. And that's all it is, to clean them up. One exhaust valve, and then I'll shut the camera off. And there's one exhaust valve cleaned up. We can get a good look at the seat, make sure there's no damage on each one. Of course, I'll be inspecting them closer when I lap the valves and the valve seats with the lapping compound. Make sure it's all smooth, and you'll be able to see the difference between this surface and the freshly lapped surface. Alright, I got 6 more to go.